are 572-0383 and 572-0215. Rev-Up St. Lucia, the alpha of radio.
Welcome to Meet the Minister, your inside look at government in action. Tune in every Friday at 10 a.m. on Rev-Up St. Lucia 97.1 FM for Meet the Minister, a powerful 60-minute conversation with a minister from the SLP government hosted by Jerry Fenelon. Get first-hand insights into the government's policies, programs, and progress as we discuss the issues that matter to you. Stay informed, stay engaged. That's Meet the Minister with Jerry Fenelon, Fridays at 10 a.m. only on Rev-Up St. Lucia 97.1 FM.
It's now time for Meet the Minister, hosted by Terence Fenelon. Mr. Fenelon, good morning to you and welcome once again.
Good morning to you, Andre Paul, listeners, viewers, wherever you are, Facebook, we're on YouTube.
That's right, and on X.
On X.
As well.
All right.
And let's say special good morning to our listeners in Sufre.
To everybody, yes, and our
in
good friends.
Sufre in particular.
And Sufre, especially, I know Sufre is tuned in because we have the very special, the Honorable Emma Hippolytopoulos, the Honorable Emma, Minister of Commerce, and she'll be on. She's on now, and we will be talking and getting a few things out of the way. Andre, if you'll permit me just to respond to your last caller, she was asking where is Jazz in Library, but she forgot Soleil. Jazz became Soleil, so she should blame her leader for squazzing Jazz. I mean, you're asking for Jazz. I mean, your leader said Jazz is dead, but you're asking for what your leader asked. I mean, come on, people. Your leader mashed it up. He tore it up. He said it was dead. It was finished, and you're asking for Jazz in Sufre, in Library. They asked for Soleil. You know what I mean? Now, Andre, yesterday...
But would it be difficult for the current MP to reinstate it?
Jazz has been reintroduced, so step by step. Look, we have a Viege, and we just in Miko North there. That was wonderful, fantastic. So the communities are coming on again. So the librarians, you want Jazz? Maybe next year. Take it easy. A pitch will be made. But, Soleil killed the thing. Soleil Couché, Jazz Levy. You're asking for Jazz now. That is your leader. Ask your leader about that. Now, Andre, yesterday, I was going to visit my mom, and I got a call to tune into a program that I'm not saying, not you, you're not hosting really. We beat the opposition. I refer to it as a cesspool of lies, propaganda, misinformation, and disinformation. And I couldn't believe some of the things I was hearing. The host was saying about, Rihanna made a very good call to the show. That's my 10 minutes. That's the platform of truth now. And he was making some very good points, and I realized the host wanted to talk over him. And one of the things she was saying, yes, there are nice things, and you're giving this and that. Facilities fees are being paid, but schools have not received their monies. And I was like, we're almost in June, the academic year is almost over on schools. And Andre, some people are just lazy. They're mischievous, disingenuous. They try to, to sensationalize things to score political points. And Andre, I'm still well connected. I pick up the phone, and I call the relevant authorities. And they tell me, Mr. Fallon, as far as they're seeing on the platform, on the computers, every single school has been paid as of November 2024. So if a principal, I believe Nancy wrote that to herself. No principal, no self-respecting principal would have done that, because this is a lie from the pit of hell. You don't do these things. You don't lie like that just to score points. What? So every school, and I got the breakdown of, and all schools were encouraged to have accounts, not savings accounts, checking accounts at the Bank of St. Lucia. So it's easy when you write whatever you from Treasury, and all the schools are paid one time. There are some schools, they have accounts other places, so that took some time. But as of November 2024, every single school was paid. So Ms. Charles, you asked me to dimmer to you, I'll dimmer to you with the fact. The fact of the matter, all schools were paid. Okay, Tsunami is the fact. Now, Andre, it was made clear to me that if a school has a problem, it's either of two things. It's either there's a problem with the banking information, or otherwise. You could surmise what otherwise means, Andre. Maybe they have not submitted the financials, because it's your money, Andre. You pay taxes, right? That's your money. That's not government doesn't have money. It's your money. So when schools are giving money, there must be accountability. And from my time I knew you had to submit financials every quarter. You have a bursa, secondary schools. every secondary school has a bursa, and the primary schools in the district, there's a bursa for the primary schools. So you have to submit via your bursa to the ministry, to the accounts department of the Ministry of Education. So if that principle, I believe that principle did not exist, that existed only in Nancy's mind. If that principle said that they had not received as of May this year, that's a lie. Or that principle has not submitted the financials, or there might be other problems. Okay, so let's put that to rest. That's a fact. Okay, Tsunami, that's a fact. Now, Andre, the other thing we heard about when Rihani, very good call, Rihani. She said, yeah, nice things, but you'll build a custody suites at the expense of healthcare. Come on, Andre. Yes, the doctors did write a very scathing letter, and I think it was laced with venom, very venomous, but that's okay. What did the Prime Minister do? He called the parties together. He wasn't on the air making noise, you know. He didn't fight with them. He called all the parties together, the doctors, the association, the interested parties, those people to whom monies were owed. They sat down in cabinet. He heard the problems, and what did he do? Immediately he injected $10 million. He gave that to OKU to pay out outstanding the payables, right? So they were able to pay some of the debts and things for medications and stuff. Because I got to understand that although a lot of money was borrowed during COVID, debts were not paid. Now, to be fair, those debts were not just, they don't occur now. These were debts that had accumulated over several years, many years. And so that was paid. So liquidity, and that freed up according. And I have a friend who's a pharmacist. Told me, yes, that was a problem because the suppliers did not want to give medication because they were owed so much money. But that injection freed them up. And to say that there's no Panadol, and that's just sensationalism, and that is not true. Okay, and look. So the Prime Minister and the cabinet, they are so vested in the health of the nation. He traveled to Martinique because we owed the hospital in Martinique a ton of money. I got it from the council, almost more than €3 million, almost 10 million EC dollars, and that debt was cleared, so that St. Lucians having problems medically have to access medical treatment over Martinique. They're now free to do so. So the government can say, yes, boy, we trust Philip J. Pierre's administration. They're honoring the debts, etc. So although the fifth finger of OKU will be built, St. Jude's opening, healthcare and stuff, you could also go to Martinique if we don't have the services because the government has cleared the debt and things. So when people talk about healthcare, you have to ask. You should have asked your host. I mean, what about the Larissus Health Center? There was a grant, ladies and gentlemen. A grant is free money, you know. It's not a loan to rebuild the Larissus Health Center. But you're so vindictive. You didn't do it. It took this administration after 6, 7, 8 years to come to build the Larissus Wellness Center to provide healthcare for our people. And you want to talk about the healthcare? Come on. And they talk about custody suites started at 1.5. And you must ask for documentation and evidence. Where are the facts? There's nothing. The lowest bid for the custody suite was 4 million. And you, the Prime Minister, said that was the bid for 4.5 million was awarded to CD, whatever the company's name.
So where did the 1.5 come from?
From the head. Because you see, that's sensational. So they want people to believe that was so low. But now it has reached 4.5 million. So there were no cost overruns. And as you heard the Prime Minister say, that was the developer built, the design built it, we're paying over time, and that's going to be ours. Just as in I'm talking about the courts. Why am I forgetting the name of the courts there? So, Andre, we have to be careful. You know, these people come with no facts, no evidence. They just talk and talk and talk. But that's my, I'm not going to take too much time to debunk the lies because it's all lies, Andre. I mean, I'm not calling a liar because, you know, and you see the problem with misinformation and disinformation and propaganda is to get us so confused that we're no longer sure of what to believe. You understand? People come and they talk, you know, because Nancy, she talks well, and bravado, and you believe the nonsense because she's saying it with conviction. But when you analyze what is said and you hold it to the smell test, it doesn't pass the smell test. So, you know, you have to, when you call me and say Fenelon spreading propaganda, tell me what it is I'm saying that is not true or false. Debunk it with evidence. You can't. But I can debunk everything you say because I could tell you custody suites There was no $1.5 million at any time. The lowest bid was $4 million. It was awarded to the company, Something Caribbean, 4.5, and so on. Okay, the Prime Minister in health, he met the professionals, and the healthcare is not perfect, Andre. Nowhere in the world is perfect, Andre. It's not. I mean, you still have a waiting time and stuff, but there's medication and everything available. Because I could tell you, my mom is going to be 92. She's 91 now. In a month's time, she'll be 92. And I tell you, I'm able to access all her meds from the pharmacy, the government pharmacy. Okay, I could tell you that for a fact. That is not a made up. This is the fact. She will be 92 years in about a month's time. All right? And I can get all her meds at the government pharmacy. So, people, let's not spread lies and misinformation. Now, you have heard enough from me. I'm not the minister. Honorable, welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I want to say again to Andre, congratulations.
Yes.
I like his space.
Yes. It's very welcoming.
Very welcoming. So
thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bullet.
Having me on the program. I want to take this moment to say good morning to all of St. Lucia, especially to my constituents of Sufre Foshajak.
Right.
I want to say a special good morning to my Jenny, Mrs. Gidhari,
right,
who is celebrating 100 years on Boulevard. So I want to say
100 years.
May God continue to guide and bless her.
Bless her. All right.
And all other persons, and so for our young people, our boat boys, keep holding on. The businesses are coming.
Right. As you stated now, as you say business, I think even before we get into the brass tacks,
yes,
I think I need you to clarify a couple of things, because these opposition people, they are ruthless, and they drag your name in the mud for all kinds of things. They want to paint you as corrupt, as engaging in nefarious activities. You made a statement once and said you had a secret meeting.
You come out.
And they translated that into you having secret deals. So I think you have the platform to the nation, because I think the opposition made it seem as though you were engaged in something nefarious, something dark and dastardly, something corrupt. So you met with people, in secret, and you signed something, and they made you look. So let's clarify that for the people once and for all.
My brother, all of St. Lucia and all of Sufre Pochajak knows who Emma Hickle is.
That's right.
So no UWP parliamentary hopeful can stain or tarnish the reputation of this lady.
Right.
None. Now, I can tell you what the parliamentary rep ought to have said to persons was a secret meeting he had when he represented Sufre Foshajak with Guy Joseph and Clem Bob, resulted in our Piton being used by investors, and up to now has put our World Heritage sites. That status, every day we are fighting to keep it alive, simply because of a meeting that he attended.
A secret meeting.
A secret meeting. And up to now, after years since that meeting, he has not come out to tell John public what did he agree on, what was the investment, and what he got from it for the people of Sufre, and what he did with whatever he got from it. He has not said so. I have come out and told John public that I had a meeting. And as a result of that meeting, I got GPH to agree through the government to redevelop Port Sufre. I am very proud of that decision that I made. And I will continue to represent the people of Sufre Foshajak. Every meeting I attended, and if you listen to Brother Frederick just on Thursday, I attended a meeting with him 3 hours on Wednesday, looking at housing for the people of Sufre Foshajak. This lady I don't need anything from any investor. Everything that I have, God has given to me. Everything that I need, I have. So I'm not going there to take anything for myself. When I attend any meeting, whether it is in the cabinet, whether it is with an investor, whether it is with anybody coming in, all my focus has been what am I getting for the people of Sufre for Shejak.
Correct. So, Mr. Bullet, in retrospect, do you think that maybe you should not have used the word secret? In retrospect?
No, not really. It was a secret meeting.
And all
I'm telling you is somebody invited me for lunch, and when I realized what the discussion was, because I did not leave my house to go at the time, and I always say, and I'm one that is very spiritual, that it was the spirit that led me to that meeting. When I was invited to the luncheon meeting, I could have said I was not going because I did not know what the subject matter was. But when I went and I met the people and I knew what the topic was, I knew very clearly that I had to put the people of Sufre for Shejak on the table, and that's what I did.
Right.
And I came back and said that I met, and that is what I got for the people of Sufre for Shejak.
Correct.
And not only that, with that GPH project, I have a cause to have maybe at least 4 town hall meetings. Our officials have participated in the design of the project. In fact, just about maybe 3-4 weeks ago, we were there the Friday. We walked the entire Barons Drive stretch. There were certain things I was still unhappy about. GPH and community tourism came back with me the Tuesday. And again at that session, we walked the entire Barons Drive stretch. GPH asking the owners, what are you doing here? What it is you'd like to see here? See community tourism asking the same question. We met with a group of about 15 young men. What are your views? What are the help you need? That's the type of meetings I put together, that my people will benefit from it. I'm proud of representing the constituency of Sufre for Shejak. The last parliamentary rep needs to come and say what he got for the people of Sufre for Shejak. He needs to outline very clearly the opportunities he had and what he did with it. So I will ask him a few questions later. I have asked him one and he has not answered. And I have asked him what he did with the people's plywood that went underneath his house. He has not answered that.
All right.
I have asked him one question. The second I'm asking him today is, what's the name of the company that he had his sister's name on? So let him answer these questions. Every time I have an opportunity, I'm going to ask him just one question. So I want him to come and answer that.
So now you have posed 2 questions.
2 questions.
The plywood
Oui.
and the company
Oui.
name that your sisters on.
Oui.
So we understand the secret,
Yes.
the secret deal, the
So-
luncheon. That was a meeting that you had in investment.
I had a meeting, yes.
To develop,
yes.
to look about the needs of Sufre, and there was nothing nefarious
There's
about it,
nothing nefarious
nothing
about
sinister about it.
And what
You
I'm
know what
saying is, I said it.
Yes, right.
It's not somebody who come on the side to say,
Yeah.
but do you had a little meeting there? I came back and say.
Yeah, but
That's
the
right.
operative word there is secret. This is what this
Andre,
has
it's
riled up.
a language,
has
it's an
riled up
English word, you know.
the opposition.
It's, in other words, she met with them behind closed doors.
Yes,
and
I had a luncheon meeting in,
yes.
in a restaurant.
Yes, and all meetings, all discussions with ministers and stuff are held behind closed doors.
Yes.
So it's secret, closed doors, same thing. So people are touched.
And I had a meeting, and
Yeah.
I revealed that I had a meeting.
Correct.
Nobody came baback at the side and said, well, did you meet this, that, and the other?
Yeah.
I disclosed when I was at the launch of GPH. Because a lot of people didn't know how Sufre got there. What you don't know is that at the beginning, Sufre was not part of that project. That's it.
That's right.
Sufre was not part of the GPH project at the beginning.
All right. But and now you get enough investment.
Yes, and now I'm getting that investment for the people of Sufre to transform Sufre for Shejak. The parliamentary rep, the former one, needs to tell the people of Sufre for Shejak why he has not represented them properly. That's what he must tell them.
That's 3 questions.
Now he's walking around, don't remember me.
Yeah.
I'll have to tell the people at another show what to remember him for.
Right. Definitely. Now let's go to another one that just came up. You know, we come into our stuff. You know, I think there's a development in the Sufre Foundation on fees.
Yes, I think he wrote a whole epistle according to Herod.
Yeah. you want to address that this morning?
Well, I can address it in summary, but I would like it to go.
Okay.
The further details we would want to, because I have to meet the board. Yes. So I know.
Yes.
Based on the information I have, that discussions are being held with vendors, boaters, all stakeholders working with the foundation.
Right.
Apparently, these discussions took place from last year.
Right.
And there was agreement as to certain fees being charged. And again, I heard when we came here this morning, I heard the lady calling to say persons should not call persons' names. But when you look at the letters,
more specifically,
there,
liars,
right? But when you came and when I look at the information that I have before me, the information that the gentleman has in the letter of indicating or in the statement that fees move from $50 to $200 is not true. Is not true. It is not true. It is correct that the Sufre Regional Development Foundation had conversations with vendors, boaters, whoever else that they deal with from last year concerning fees. There were certain changes in the fees, but there was never a change from $50 to $200. Now, some people are paying $50, some people are paying $100, some people are paying $200, some people are paying $300, especially the spas and so on. So it is not correct what he has presented. So if he's representing, or if he wants to represent the constituency of Sufre Foshaja, he must come with the truth. Just tell the people what it is you have done for them and what it is you will be doing for them. Yes.
That's correct.
Instead of misleading, misrepresenting. That's it.
That's it, right.
Stick to the truth. But the people have made a decision. He knows the people have made a decision that they do not want him as a parliamentary rep anymore. When they compare what he presented and what I'm delivering now, he knows they do not want him anymore. He's on the ground morning, afternoon, night. Just tell the people what you intend to deliver.
Correct.
And when they compare what he has delivered versus what I have delivered and what is coming in the pipeline, he knows he does not have a chance.
All right.
So what he's going to do is going to use the strategy of the untruths, repeat the untruths, and hope that something is going to stick.
All right. Now let's get into your ministry.
Yes.
A heavy ministry, and especially now with the trade wars, etc., the cost of living. We're hearing a call about the cost of living. We heard the Prime Minister talking about removing the 6%. Andrew, you could maybe just cue that up. Just cue that one, and maybe we could take it from there. That can be a springboard as to what your ministry is doing and how we are trying to alleviate ameliorate the problem with the cost of living, high cost of living.
During Monday's pre-cabinet press briefing, the Prime Minister Honorable Philip G. Pierre announced the price control measures that will be rolled out in preparation for the possible placement of tariffs that may impact the cost of imports. He spelled out 3 measures that will be implemented soon to keep the cost of living under control. The first 2 measures will be to remove value-added tax on a growing list of essential items and to remove the service charge on them.
In the meantime, we are taking some steps to help in the cost of living. Number 1, say in the budget, we are zero-rating a few more food items. We have been discussions with the Chamber of Commerce on these items. That means that the price of a few goods should go down by 12.5% immediately. Immediately. The goods on the basket of goods, we are removing the service charge on them because the service charge was for I think a year or so. That's over. Remove the service charge. That's going to happen if not next week, it's the week after. We expect on the 1st of July the cost of a few items in the supermarkets which we list supposed to go down immediately because we're going to zero rate them.
The third is to review the price structure of gas.
As you know, consumers began paying less for gasoline. They began paying $16 per gallon for gasoline. That began in the new price. I'm reviewing the new price structure for gasoline, which should be implemented, I think, 23rd of May. So these things are happening. But I can tell you that in terms of the cost of living, the government has taken some decisive steps to cause some reduction in the price of certain goods. Reduction, but remember, we only control the price. We do not control the cost.
The Prime Minister went on to thank the Chamber of Commerce, which he says the government is collaborating with to roll out these policies. He says that these changes are the government's effort to support the people of St. Lucia preemptively, whilst an agreement is worked out with respect to whether or not the tariffs will be placed on the island. For Choice News Now, I am Sienna Dalton.
Okay, Mister, that is right up your alley. I think you have been spearheading a committee to look at the cushion, the tariffs, etc. So maybe you could speak to the measures that we are taking to.
Okay, you are correct. But let me speak generally on it, and then I'll go into the specific areas. It's correct that the first action we have taken is the removal of the 6% service charge on all price control goods. That one was the easiest because we already have the price control goods in the system, and we had already done it about a year and a half ago. And so this came into effect. The SI, the statutory instrument, has been issued, and this comes into effect. That's 1st of June.
1st of June.
Yes.
That's Sunday. So
that is done. The second one is the removal of VAT on two sets of goods. We have goods that were attracting the 12.5%. Some of them will now move them so that they no longer attract VAT. Then we have goods that were exempt from VAT. We now put them to zero rated. That exercise is ongoing now. We have because the process is. We have looked at the list. Right. We have a suggested list from the Chamber of Commerce. We have some suggestions from the Prime Minister's office. We opened it up to some members, for example, persons from the National Consumers Association. What we're trying to do is to have a comprehensive list. When we look at the list to see what are some of the things, the average thing that the average household is purchasing. So we've, and I sat down at that meeting on, I think it was Tuesday. So we sat down and looked at that list on Tuesday at the office. And then we have to send it back to finance and to make that come into effect on the 1st of July. So we are working on that list. This is an extended list. After the exercise, we have to send it back to Chamber. Right. So that we have agreements in terms of the goods that are now going to be zero rated.
So that should bring some level of soulagement.
That is going to the service charge one. The goods will be at least 6% less immediately, and then from the 1st of July, when we remove the VAT, that is going to be another reduction of 12.5%.
Right.
This is a government that continues to focus, and that was even before the whole issue of the U.S. tariffs. Because we had already taken off the 6% some time ago. That's right. And I think we need to take a moment to discuss what is happening, what has caused the U.S. tariff. I believe everybody, all of St. Lucia, has been listening to the international news. They understood the U.S. position in terms of America First policy of President Trump. He placed different types of different rates of tariff. Finally, I think at the moment he has agreed on a 10% tariff across the board. Up to last night when I listened to the news, these things have been challenged in different courts, but it is still not resolved. So in the meantime, the Prime Minister and the Cabinet appointed a task force to look at that. I'm heading that task force at the moment. We have met, and it's a ministerial task force. We've met 4 times. Our 5th meeting is on Tuesday coming. And what have we done during that time? We have made certain recommendations. We have certain subcommittees. We have a PR subcommittee that is working and talking to the public, developing messages to the public and keeping the public current in terms of what is happening. We have the Ministry of Agriculture, and they have the responsibility to prepare a plan of action as it relates to our food security, and they have prepared a plan to present to, and that plan has been presented to the Cabinet of Ministers. We had initial discussion on that on Monday. The Minister for Agriculture was not at Cabinet, so the final discussion on that will take place, God willing, this Monday when he's present. But it requires an injection by the Minister of Finance of about $5 million. The different actions that we have identified, and we believe, irrespective of what happens at the international level, that we are going to remain focused in terms of implementing this food security strategy. We have another subcommittee, and that time it's headed by the Ministry of Finance, and what they're doing is to do a sectoral analysis which look at all the sectors. How is that tariff thing going to impact tourism, for example, agriculture that we're dealing with, but all the various sectors of the economy. We expect when we get this report, again, it's going to go to the Cabinet of Ministers, and again, we will have other responses to the recommendations that are presented. We have looked as well in terms of working with CARICOM. Some of the recommendations that has been presented to us is in line with what is recommended regionally by the heads of government to deal with this U.S. tariff. We have decided that we are not going to get into confrontational issues with the U.S. We are just going to focus what we can do nationally and what we can do regionally to protect our people and to ensure that we can feed our people. And as a government, that is what we're doing. We are also looking at, because there was another issue that can have significant impact for us, and that is the U.S. was threatening to put a special fee on boats that are constructed in China. That would have had even more devastating effect on us because of the small vessels that are coming in here. We've had representation made to the U.S., and we've had a stay on that particular policy. I need to thank the representative of the shippers. They also joined government in terms of representation, regional representation to the U.S. So we have had a stay on that particular policy, and so that is not going to impact too much the cost of freight to St. Lucia. So but in the meantime as well, one of the things we're looking at is, God forbid, what are some of the alternative routes that we can get for our goods, as well as we're trying to look within the Americas for other sources of supply for our goods. So I want to let John Public know that as a government, we continue to work 24/7 on that matter. We have a technical committee headed by staff at the Ministry of Commerce, Dr. Samuel, our permanent secretary. I want to take this moment to thank them for the work that you're doing, because we have to remain on that particular issue because it impacts everything else. In terms of if cost of food goes up, cost of building material goes up, cost of everything goes up. So we are monitoring this, but I want to take this moment to thank the business community as well in terms of working together with us to try to contain any increases in prices.
What you have described there is a comprehensive plan, a strategy.
Yes.
I mean, we were not caught flat-footed. The Prime Minister had the foresight to put his team together. And you have outlined, what you have outlined there is very comforting, knowing that we are on the ball. Because people are saying the Prime Minister can come and make a statement. Make a statement for what? We don't, uncertainty, you had to put things in place, right?
He made the statement. The statement is to appoint a technical ministerial team.
And some people thought that was not enough, but he did that, and the work that you have described there that you are doing, it seems we have all our bases covered.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. The PR team. There are other things we are doing at the same time. For example, within the Ministry of Commerce, one of the things that we're trying to do immediately is to encourage, that we had done before through our Love St. Lucia campaign, is to raise the consciousness of St. Lucians to consume what they grow and grow what we consume, but also to support our manufacturers. So we have branded that Love St. Lucia. There's this significant campaign to raise the consciousness for St. Lucians to buy what is local. There's a symbol. It's a heart in the colors, in the national colors. So we're trying to make it more visible everywhere. We are going to the schools. We have a team now going to the schools. We have made arrangement with the St. Lucia Manufacturers Association. Their members are going to have visits from the procurement officers within government as the first step. Because as a government we procure quite a bit locally, whether it's through central government or through our agencies like the hospital, the prisons. And we're taking these procurement officers and we're saying, please go out there, go and see what is being done, what is being manufactured here, so that you can give these persons, you can make a decision. Your procurement decision is, we are purchasing local first. Just like America have decided to say America first.
Yes.
We are saying, please help our manufacturers, because when you purchase from them, first you eat something that is fresh.
And usually organic.
Yes. So we are doing that. We're going into the schools. We are bringing our procurement officers with our manufacturers. We are also trying to bring the persons, our chef from the hotels and procurement officer from the hotels, to see what is being manufactured, so that our chefs can use a lot more of our local products.
Stuff, yes.
So we are trying everywhere to bring all the engines together.
And our money will stay and
here.
circulate.
People are more, right, more persons employed, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah, it was just sad when the Prime Minister made the statement about grow what you eat and eat what you grow, that people, simpletons, laughed at him and they tried to ridicule him and stuff, but now it's hitting home. Because now we understand the importance
of consuming
what we grow.
The work we are doing with our fishers to ensure they've got the fads to reduce the fuel that they use. So we are doing different things. The solarization projects that you're doing with our fisher cooperatives to contain the cost, all of it is holistic to try to see how we can ensure that our people eat at a price that they can afford.
Yeah, because I was just reading, the only country in the Caribbean that can feed itself, Andre, you know which country is that? I was just looking at that there, and it's Guyana.
Yes, because of the landmass.
And they can feed themselves, Andre, if there's a crisis, and that is where we have to go. So the issue of, the Prime Minister just said about green figs, and we laughed. I mean, green figs, I really couldn't understand that, You have to eat it, the green figs, the breadfruit, etc. We have to be able to grow everything that we need, so you can supply ourselves.
So in the short term, we are looking, for example, at sweet potato.
Right.
So because this is a very short crop,
yes,
we need to ensure that we put it on the ground there.
Correct.
Look at our farmers again. We have large farmers, we have kitchen gardens, so different things are happening.
Right.
Prime Minister has given the nod to put $5 million in
and
that
he's
project.
putting his money where his mouth
Yes,
is.
he's putting his money where his mouth is. So I want to use that moment to cause all of St. Lucia to beg, to beg you as consumers, because you have the purchasing, you with your dollar has the purchasing power in your hands.
Yeah.
And when I go to the supermarket shelves, I go there all the time to see what is happening. And if that local product is 2 cents more, I'm asking you, please purchase it. That's a decision.
Love
you
St.
have to
Lucia.
make. Love St. Lucia.
Yes.
Please purchase it,
Right.
so that all of us.
Once
can
the
survive
quality
this.
is good.
And one thing I am happy about, we have maintained our quality. When you look at, we have maintained our quality. When you look at tissue paper, when you look at our pasta with tenderoni, we have maintained a good quality.
Ramco
Yes.
and stuff. Yes, good stuff.
So
That's what I buy. Local stuff. Local, as far as possible.
We need to purchase local.
So
that's the work we are doing at the Ministry of Commerce. I want to thank the Permanent Secretary. I want to thank the people at the Consumer Affairs Unit, because the pressure is on them there. They need to go around the place. They need to look at the price control items. In fact, this exercise we are doing there, it's really within the price control unit. We need to go around. We need to sit with the business owners. We need to get them to agree. It's a give and take situation. I also want to thank the members of the National Consumers Association. We meet every quarter. So we've met. We need them to give us the support, and they have been giving us the support that is needed to be our eyes and ears on the ground. The Bureau of Standards as well, the work they are doing in terms of ensuring that we have good quality products.
Yeah, I think you did mention, I think it needs reinstating. You have been getting positive synergy, positive energy from the private sector.
Yes.
Because, normally people think the private sector is so anti labor administration, but no, you're saying that you have been having fruitful discussions.
We've had, and if you may recall, just I think it was last week, maybe a week ago, when we had the private sector join me and met with the Commissioner of Police, for example, because I meet the sector every quarter, and when we meet with them, we meet Chamber by themselves, we meet Manufacturers Association, we have Engineers Association, Chamber of Commerce. We have SLISBA and a few others. So we meet with them, they raise issues, but last week when we met with the commissioner, all of them were in the room.
All right.
All of them were in the room, because one of the things when we had the conversation with them, they were concerned about security.
Yeah.
And they sat with the commissioner and the deputy outline all the things that is happening by the police.
Right.
Some of them, again, as you rightly say, they did not know at the time. But the comments we got afterwards was that they were happy that they came to that meeting.
Okay.
So it is brokering meetings, for example, last week as well, the management of our Regulated Substance Authority, the RSA, who's charged with working with us to bring in the cannabis industry. Again, we had a sit down with the Commissioner of Police and the Deputy Commissioner of Police to see how we put this into operation, how we bring in the other stakeholders together. So, as a government, we always believe that we have to work together. We cannot work collaboratively.
Yes.
We cannot work in silos. We have a lot of work to do, and we are doing a lot of work.
Right.
And I'm pleased that all the stakeholders have an appreciation that we must work together to cause things to happen for our country.
Okay.
We are on the right path.
Yes.
And
the information you have divulged this morning, I didn't know.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I didn't know, because I did not call you before the show. I just met you in the lobby.
Yes.
We did not butt heads. We did not
But our
compare
St.
notes.
Lucia campaign is critical for me.
Yes,
Critical for me. We have a team going to the schools now.
Okay.
To the schools, because we know the children can influence the parents. And we are working as well to see, because we need to almost train the palate from the
schools, yes,
to cause things to happen.
Right.
Yes.
Now, listeners, we're going to take calls. We have narrowed the discussion this morning because we have not even gone into a lot of what we're doing at the ministry. I know you have to come back. We will come back. It's not a one shot. So, Andre, I know now let me explain, please. Let's some house rules. formulate your question before you come. I will not allow you to go on any preaching, Formulate your question and ask your question. Now, if you step out of order, I'm not going to waste time with you. I'm going to cut you immediately. So formulate your question, think about what you're going to ask the question, and the Honorable Minister will respond to the best of our ability. Okay? So, Andre, when you're ready, you could open the lines, and we'll be able to take questions as soon as we don't have anyone yet, right?
No, that's it.
Oh, very good. Okay.
I saw Andre listening in.
Oh, Andre is listening intently because Andre absorbs.
Please hold that information so when I am not there, you can say what I say, Andre, and repeat a bit for me.
And on Thursdays, when the cesspool of this information is on, you could say, no, that's what I don't know, Andre. You know what I mean? Yeah, because this is it, this is that, and the other. Okay, Andre?
Okay.
I forgot to ask you to
give the numbers.
Yes. Just give the numbers again, Andre.
And then we have a call. The fixed line is 572-9710, 572-9710, or you can WhatsApp 287-0971. WhatsApp is 287-0971. Again, the fixed line 572-9710 or WhatsApp 287-0971. So we have somebody on the WhatsApp platform.
Okay, good morning, caller. Welcome to Meet the Minister.
Good morning, Andre. Good morning, Mr. Fenelon. Good morning, Auntie Emma.
Good morning, my brother.
Morning.
I like your glasses, Auntie Emma.
You know what it is.
But
you know what it is.
All right, Auntie Emma, don't feel offended if I ask you a question. Just on trading on clarity.
Don't feel offended. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Last year you made a statement, a public statement, that you said you had a secret meeting with officials of GPH. Could you just enlighten St. Lucians as to not the contents or the details of that meeting? Because you indicated, if I quoted you wrong, correct me, I'm subject to correction. But you indicated that you had a secret meeting with officials of GPH. And recent developments, we've seen that the Sufre Foundation, they increased the vending fees for the vendors. I don't know if you're familiar with them, by the Sulphur Springs. My information is, again, you can correct me, that they were paying a rental fee of $50 a month. And now we're hearing it was raised to $200. And from my information, most of those vendors vending near the Sulphur Springs area, they are single mothers. So, two-part question. When you said you had a secret meeting with the officials of GPH, could you enlighten St. Lucia or educate St. Lucians as to the details of that secret meeting with GPH? And secondly, why it is that the Sufre Foundation saw it in its wisdom to increase the vending fees on those vendors near the Sulphur Springs from $50 to $250.
Thank you, caller.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, my brother, it appears that maybe you are not listening to the program at the beginning.
Yes.
So I will sort of do a summary response, because these were the first two issues that we dealt with at the beginning of the program. The meeting that I had with the GPH personnel that you're referring to as a secret meeting that you think has not been told, I reported that I was the one who divulged that I met with persons, and as a result of that meeting, we got the Sufre, the project for the development of Port Sufre. So I raised that. And secondly, the issue, I corrected the fact, I informed listeners that it is incorrect, untrue, that persons' fees were moved from $50 to $200. I reported that the information I have so far was that the foundation has had conversation with vendors, with shippers, with all the stakeholders, and there has been some revision in fees, but there has never been a revision of $500 to $200. And as I am aware, the persons, the various sectors have been paying. I have also informed that I would not go into all the details because I'm going to meet the board of the Sufre Foundation.
Okay, I hope that satisfies you, caller. This was clarified.
We have another call.
Good morning, caller. Welcome to Meet the Minister. Let's have
Good
your
morning, Mr. Paul. Good morning, Miss Emma. Good morning, Mr. Fenelon.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Good morning to you.
Last night, I heard Herod was on the Flabo station, which is like Hot FM. And he was saying, like, you never, ever do anything for the people in Sufre for Seja. So I want you to explain what you have been done for Sufre for Seja, for Herod and the listener to hear. Thank you, my take.
Thank you, Mr. Samson.
Well, I'm really hoping that he didn't say that. But yes, what are some of the things that we have done? When I came in, I believe I focused significantly on training the human resource part of the constituents. We went into training young boys, boat boys. We went to train young persons to prepare them to get into the ITT center. Then we move into installing crash barriers throughout the constituency. That is one of the things I did very early with my CDP. Throughout Sufre now, we have installed crash barriers. He was there, he was the Minister for Planning. He never saw it fitting to protect the drivers and the commuters on the Sufre Road. I installed that. Then we went into Bouton. I installed the Bouton Community Center. That was one of the things that we dealt with the people. We did that. Then I went into the foundation itself, because that was the foundation he left with a debt of millions of dollars, where he left the NIC monies not paid, where he wrote off the debt of all his boat friends. The next thing I did there was how do we restructure that? How do we restructure the Sufre Foundation? From the debt that we got of millions of dollars, if you go now to that foundation, it is a foundation that is stable. It is a foundation that has paid all of the debt left to the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. At the time, they owed the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, children could not get their certificates. We had to pay that off. We paid the NIC. We paid insurance companies on behalf, because they had collected the monies from staff members to an insurance company and they never paid.
Oh my word.
We had to pay all of that. People, business persons in town was not accepting the vouchers of the Sufre Regional Development Foundation. That has changed. Has changed to the extent that now the Sufre Regional Development Foundation has issued 3 scholarships to persons doing university studies. Never heard of before. So we have stabilized the Sufre Regional Development Foundation. What else we've done with the foundation? In terms of outreach, we have taken that foundation, and now John Public, somebody gets assistance for medical. They get assistance for funeral support. They get assistance for education. That was never done before. Hundreds of persons. That is why he's worried. Hundreds of persons. One of the commitments we gave was that we're going to bring that foundation closer to the people, and we have done so. In his statement, he said that there is an allocation of $240,000 for the parliamentary rep. Yes, but I have also reported that during those 3 years, we have disbursed over $680,000 to hundreds of persons from Sufre. All social projects, also supporting youth. We have touched the lives of persons. Ask him what he did with the time he was at the foundation.
You also said something about writing off debts?
Yes.
Of his friends or something like that?
Yes, I said so. You'll get the details later.
That has to be tabled.
Yes.
We have 2 more calls. We'll take the 2 more and we'll stop, because there's a clip that we must play that I wanted to respond to, that of the former Minister of Finance. Let's take these 2 calls, and then Andre will give us 5 minutes to just wrap up. All right, Andre, let's go. Good morning, caller. Welcome to Meet the Minister.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Auntie Emma.
Good morning, Alpha.
Good morning, Auntie.
Good morning.
Auntie Emma.
Yes?
Last night, that boat came raised again about that boat in the cemetery. Now, Auntie Emma, do you know the owner of that boat?
The boat in the cemetery? Yes, it has an owner. I believe it has an owner.
Okay, let me tell you what to do. When you find the owner, you tell them about the boat. If they move it, charge them for each day's stay there. And after you give your money, sit the boat and sell it. Right? Probably sure the owner are wrong and then let move the boat in cemetery.
Well, the cemetery wall is damaged. Now, what I'm saying is, there is a boat that is resting on. It's half part of it is on the beach, part of it is jutting out into part of the cemetery. My area of focus is after Hurricane Beryl, we cleaned the cemetery as best we could because the thing was all covered up with sand. We've done that. I'm going to focus on the cemetery again when the government, God willing, when we get the money to do the cemetery wall. That's what I'm going to focus on. What we have done when we do our kudme and what we do all the time is to ensure that we clean the cemetery. We paint the tombs. That is what the PAL rep should be doing. He should assist people in going and give some love to the people in the cemetery instead of talking about the boat.
Yes. And maybe the owner move that boat there or charge them for each day.
Thank you, Alpha. Thank you, Alpha.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you. We'll take one more call, Andrea, and then we have a clip to play and the audible.
The person hung up.
Oh, okay. But I want you to respond to this clip because let's have this clip, Andrea.
We're subsidizing people by reducing the price of rice, flour, and sugar. But everybody's benefiting from it. But not everybody needs it.
We can no longer continue to subsidize all sections of society under the guise of protecting the poor.
We have this idiotic process, honestly, where we subsidize rice, flour, and sugar and say we're helping poor people. Have you heard that statement?
Of course, yeah.
Okay. So if somebody can't afford to buy rice, flour, and sugar, getting it at a cheaper price, you think that's helping them? But meanwhile, everybody benefits from the subsidy? That we're reducing or taking off VAT on items to help whom? Who are you helping?
You heard that?
You really want me to comment on this?
Yes,
I mean,
I think
you know, the former Prime Minister don't understand these things.
That's right.
Because he never had that experience. He never knows what it is to go hungry or not to know where breakfast comes from. Mm-hmm. But if the average St. Lucian will appreciate the fact that this government, for example, this year, 2024-25, has subsidized rice, flour, and sugar to the tune of $13.6 million. Mm-hmm. To the tune of 13.6. Now, if the former Prime Minister do not agree that we should have these subsidies, he should be saying what alternative he is going to put in place. But he has never said so. But John Public, the average person from my constituency of Barons Drive, from Masha, the average mother, single mother, who goes to the bakery every morning to buy that loaf of $2, if the government do not provide that subsidy, that loaf could be sold to up to $5. Mm-hmm. School children will not get breakfast. So, former Prime Minister don't know anything about that because he had everything on a platter. And that is why the people of Deriso must do us a favor.
Correct.
And keep him out.
Once and for all.
Yes. He has not understood the people of St. Lucia. He does not understand what the average household has to do.
Yeah, so 13.3, we are subsidizing rice, flour, and sugar.
Rice, flour, and sugar, $13.6 million.
Yeah, that's what he gave to Pomandu to tell him
well, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's where his priorities
and I'm saying, and that subsidy is everywhere. Mm-hmm. And he's right. How can you subsidize one set and don't? I'm hearing you saying some people don't need it. Mm. The person who's buying the bread every day, the sugar, you know the noise you're hearing if there is any shortage of sugar, everybody needs this.
That's a staple.
That's a staple.
Correct.
And I'm telling you, even we being the government through the Consumer Affairs Department imports sugar. And even when we have a challenge and we give the manufacturers the authorization for them to go and order their own sugar. They are not ordering it. They are waiting for ours because ours is a lot less costly. Mm-hmm. And we had a meeting just about 2 weeks ago with one of the manufacturers, and she admitted that they want to continue because of the volume that we purchase and how we can negotiate.
All right.
So I want to take this moment to thank our Prime Minister for the work that he's doing and for him to govern with a heart that is generous
and with empathy
and compassion. And that is what we need, and that is what this country needs. So when previous parliamentary rep for Sufre Fochejak is raising these things, he must not follow his leader. That is why the people put him out. That is why this party is out, and they will remain out for a long time. The people of St. Lucia requires a government that understands them, that is working with them and for them. And that is what the St. Lucia Labour Party is doing at the moment. And let God continue to guide and bless us.
Yes, bread, freedom, and justice.
Yes.
And putting people
first.
Understanding the plight of the poor man and trying to ensure that the pie is a lot more evenly distributed.
Equitable.
Yes. Oh, this morning the time ran, Andre.
Yes. Unfortunately, we can't take any more calls.
We can't take, unfortunately.
Sorry.
And I see the schoolmaster listening intently. I hope to call.
Yeah, because he needs to butt it on a Thursday. Where that cesspool of misinformation and disinformation, lies and propaganda is on. Because I don't know how you would take that stench, that stinks up the place, man. You need to detox, after a Thursday meeting, you know what I mean? Because Andre, these lies come at a rate of 10 a minute,
I am told that there is one Mr. Snack that calls morning, afternoon, night. Tell him what he has done to support any sector of the community in Sufre.
Well, Honorable.
Ask him.
Honorable, it's a pleasure having you this morning. I don't know if you have anything else to say before you leave?
I need to thank the constituency of Sufre Fochejak for supporting me for the prayers, and to tell them that I'll continue working with them and for them. And together we are transforming. Sufre Fochejak.
Listen to what one of your workers, somebody you worked with a long time ago, you were his supervisor, his leader. He said, this is a lady with vision and the ability to get projects done. This is from from NIC,
Amen.
who worked with you, and he says, this is my girl. So we have had a wonderful time, Andre. It was nice being here again. We shall see you next week, Friday, for another episode of Meet the Minister. And right now it's adios, and see you next week.
Thank you, Andre.
Thank you. Mr. Hippolyte, and thank you, Mr. Fenelon.
All right.
You've been listening to and viewing Meet the Minister, heard exclusively and seen exclusively on Rev-Up Slu every Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. So thank you for listening and thank you for viewing. Well, this is the end of Maiston here on Rev-Up for today. Today, Friday, the 30th of May. Don't forget, you can check me out tonight at Dax on Victoria Street, and also tomorrow at the Grapevine in Bella Rosa. So do you have yourself a safe day and a great weekend. Andre Paul saying so long. We have Tony Paul coming on next. He'll be with you until 3 this afternoon. 3 o'clock is going to be Zen the DJ. So do take care of yourself. So long.
Welcome to Meet the Minister, your inside look at government in action. Tune in every Friday at 10 a.m. on Rev-Up St. Lucia 97.1 FM for Meet the Minister.